The day everything changed, the morning of September 15th, 2045. Started like any other for Dr. Sarah Chen as she sipped her third cup of coffee in the CERN control room. The Large Hadron Collider hummed its familiar tune beneath the Swiss French border, and her team of physicists prepared for another day of probing the universe's deepest secrets. None of them expected the universe to probe back. At exactly 11:47 a.m. Geneva time, every quantum detector in the facility began screaming warnings. Sarah's coffee mug shattered against the floor as she lunged for the main console, her dark eyes widening at readings that shouldn't have been possible. The quantum field measurements were off the charts, showing patterns that violated every known law of physics. "Dr. Chen, you need to see this," called out her assistant, Dr. Marcus Webb, his voice trembling with excitement and fear. The main screen displayed a three-dimensional map of Earth, dotted with pulsing red indicators above major cities. These quantum signatures are appearing simultaneously across the globe. London, Tokyo, New York, Beijing, Moscow, they're everywhere. Sarah's brilliant mind raced through possibilities. Quantum entanglement on this scale was theoretically impossible with current technology. The energy requirements alone would exceed the output of several stars. Yet the data was undeniable. Something was manipulating the quantum fabric of reality itself, and it was happening right above their heads. Meanwhile, 300 miles away in Brussels, Admiral Marcus Rodriguez was experiencing his own version of the impossible. The former Navy SEAL turned head of the Global Defense Initiative stood in the Situation Room, watching satellite feeds that defied belief. Massive structures, each the size of a city, had materialized in Earth's atmosphere without warning. They hung motionless above the world's capitals, their crystalline surfaces reflecting sunlight in patterns that hurt to look at directly. "Sir, radar can't get a solid lock on them," reported Lieutenant Sarah Kim, her fingers flying across holographic displays. "They're there, but they're also ... not there. It's like they exist in multiple dimensions at once." Rodriguez's weathered face remained calm despite the chaos around him. 30 years of military service had taught him that panic was a luxury leaders couldn't afford. "Have we attempted communication? Every frequency, every method we know. They're not responding to radio, laser, or even quantum communication attempts. It's like they're waiting for something." The Admiral's jaw tightened. In his experience, when unknown forces positioned themselves above population centers, they were rarely bringing good news. "Alert all global defense networks. I want every asset ready for deployment, but nobody fires unless fired upon. If these things wanted to destroy us, they probably would have done it already." At the United Nations headquarters in New York, Ambassador Zara Okafor was fielding calls from world leaders who were simultaneously terrified and fascinated by the unprecedented event. The Nigerian diplomat had spent her career mediating between nations, but nothing had prepared her for mediating between species. She stood at the windows of the Security Council chamber, looking up at the massive crystalline vessel that cast shifting shadows across Manhattan. "Madam Ambassador, the Secretary General is asking for your assessment," her aide whispered urgently. "The emergency session begins in 10 minutes. Zara took a deep breath, her diplomatic training kicking in. "Tell him I believe we're witnessing either the most elaborate hoax in human history or the most important moment in human history. Either way, we need to approach this with both caution and openness." As she spoke, something extraordinary happened. The crystalline ship above New York began to resonate, its faceted surface pulsing with colors that had no names in human language. Similar displays occurred above every major city where the vessels had appeared. The light patterns seemed random at first, but Dr. Chen, monitoring the quantum signatures from CERN, recognized them immediately. "It's not random," she breathed into her headset, connected to the global emergency network. "The patterns are quantum equations. They're showing us the mathematical structure of reality itself. This isn't just communication, it's a demonstration of their understanding of the universe." The light show continued for exactly 7 minutes and 43 seconds before stopping abruptly. Then, in a development that would forever change humanity's understanding of its place in the cosmos, the visitors finally spoke, but they didn't use radio waves or sound. Instead, they communicated directly through quantum entanglement, their words appearing simultaneously in the minds of every physicist, astronomer, and quantum researcher on Earth. "People of Earth," the voice was melodious yet alien, carrying harmonics that no human throat could produce. "We are the Nexari of the Andromeda Collective. We have observed your species for 12,000 of your years, watching your remarkable evolution from primitive tool users to quantum manipulators. Today, we reveal ourselves because your development has reached a critical threshold." Dr. Chen felt the words resonate not just in her mind, but in her very atoms. The quantum field around her hummed with alien intelligence, and she realized that the Nexari weren't just communicating. They were temporarily connecting human consciousness to their own quantum network. "We come not as conquerors, but as potential allies," the voice continued. "Your galaxy faces a threat that no single species can withstand. The void devourers, entities that exist between dimensions, are consuming reality itself as they expand across the universe. They have already claimed 17 galaxies, turning matter and energy into nothingness." Admiral Rodriguez felt his blood run cold. As a military strategist, he understood the implications immediately. If beings advanced enough to manipulate quantum fields were seeking allies, the threat they faced must be beyond imagination. "The Nexari Collective has fought the Void Devourers for millennia," the mental voice explained. "Our technology is vast, our knowledge deep, our resolve unwavering. Yet we have only succeeded in slowing their advance, not stopping it. This is why we have come to you." Ambassador Okafor, standing in the Security Council chamber surrounded by the most powerful leaders on Earth, felt the weight of cosmic responsibility settling on her shoulders. The emergency session had been forgotten as world leaders stood, transfixed by the alien communication. "Humanity possesses something unique in our galaxy," the Nexari continued. "Your species exhibits a form of consciousness that operates on quantum chaos principles, where other intelligent species, including ourselves, think in ordered, logical patterns. Humans demonstrate an ability to make intuitive leaps that border on the impossible. You solve problems by breaking rules that other species don't even realize exist." Dr. Chen's mind raced as she processed this information. The aliens were describing human creativity and adaptability in quantum terms. Humanity's greatest strength, its unpredictability, was being recognized as a cosmic asset. "Your mathematics are primitive by our standards," the voice admitted with what might have been amusement. "Your technology is barely capable of leaving your own solar system. Yet your approach to problem solving has produced solutions that our most advanced quantum computers cannot predict or replicate. This is why we offer alliance." The crystalline ships began to pulse again, and suddenly every human on Earth could see images transmitted directly into their minds. Vast battles between beings of light and shadows that consumed stars. entire solar systems being drained of existence until nothing remained but empty space. The scope of the conflict was beyond human comprehension. The void devourers will reach your galaxy in approximately 50 of your years, the Nexari explained. By then, we must have developed new strategies, new weapons, new ways of thinking about existence itself. The collective has tried every logical approach. Now we need your chaos. Commander Jake Morrison, former astronaut and current military advisor, stood in the Pentagon's Situation Room watching the alien transmission. His years in space had prepared him for the unexpected, but nothing had prepared him for this. The mathematical beauty of the alien vessels, the elegant way they manipulated quantum fields, the sheer scale of the conflict they described it, was both terrifying and magnificent. We offer you a choice, the Nexari voice continued. Join the collective as equal partners, share your unique cognitive abilities, and help us develop strategies to defeat the void devourers. In exchange, we will provide you with technology that will advance your civilization by 10,000 years. Clean energy, faster than light travel, the ability to manipulate matter at the quantum level, all of this and more. The alien communication paused, and in that silence, every human being on Earth held their breath. However, the voice resumed, carrying a note of gravity that transcended species barriers. Alliance with the collective requires more than simple agreement. You must prove that your chaotic thinking can produce results under pressure. You must demonstrate that humanity can work together despite your differences. And you must show that your species is ready to take its place among the stars. The crystalline ships began to dim, their quantum signatures fading from Dr. Chun's instruments. We will remain in your atmosphere for 72 hours, the Nexari concluded. During this time, your leaders must reach a consensus. If you accept our offer, we will begin the integration process immediately. If you decline, we will respect your choice and seek other allies. But know this: the void devourers care nothing for your decision. They will come whether you are prepared or not. The mental connection severed abruptly, leaving every human on Earth feeling strangely empty. In the CERN control room, Dr. Chen stared at her instruments, which had returned to normal readings. The quantum signatures were gone, but the implications remained. Admiral Rodriguez was the first to break the silence in the Brussels Situation Room. Get me the President, the Prime Minister, and every head of state on the planet. We have 72 hours to make the most important decision in human history. As emergency meetings convened around the world, Ambassador Okafor found herself looking up at the crystalline ship hanging over New York. The vessel was beautiful in its alien perfection, but she couldn't shake the feeling that humanity was standing at the edge of an abyss. The choice before them would determine not just their survival, but their evolution as a species. The age of human isolation was ending. The question was whether humanity would rise to meet the cosmic challenge or be consumed by forces beyond their comprehension. In 72 hours, the world would have its answer. The price of survival. What makes humanity invaluable? The first 24 hours after the Nexari's ultimatum were the most chaotic in human history. Emergency sessions convened in every major capital as world leaders grappled with a decision that would define humanity's future. Dr. Sarah Chen hadn't slept since the quantum signatures first appeared, her mind racing through the implications of the alien offer. The technology they're offering is beyond anything we could develop in centuries, she explained to the hastily assembled Global Response Committee via holographic conference. Clean fusion, quantum manipulation, faster than light travel, They're essentially offering to catapult us into a Type 2 civilization overnight. President Elena Vasquez of the United States leaned forward in her chair. But what exactly are they asking for in return? They mentioned proving ourselves, demonstrating our chaotic thinking. What does that actually mean? Admiral Rodriguez, appearing on screen from Brussels, had been asking himself the same question. In my experience, when someone offers you everything you want, they're about to ask for everything you have. We need to understand what integration means before we sign up for it. The answer came sooner than expected. As the second day dawned, the Nexari ships began transmitting again, but this time their message was different. Instead of the universal quantum broadcast, they established direct communication with the Global Response Committee. We understand your concerns. The melodious alien voice spoke directly into the minds of the assembled leaders. Demonstration of your capabilities is required not as a test of worthiness, but as proof that your chaotic thinking can function under pressure. We will provide a simulation based on actual encounters with the Void Devourers. Ambassador Okafor felt her diplomatic instincts engaging. What kind of simulation? Are we talking about a theoretical exercise, or something more tangible? A quantum reality construct, the Nexari replied. We will create a limited pocket dimension where you can experience actual combat conditions against Void Devourer entities. No physical harm will come to your participants, but the mental and emotional stress will be entirely real. Dr. Chun's eyes widened. You're talking about creating an artificial universe. The energy requirements alone are well within our capabilities. The voice interrupted gently. The question is whether humanity is prepared to enter such a construct. We require 12 representatives from your species individuals who exemplify the chaotic thinking patterns we seek to harness. The selection process took 8 hours of heated debate. Military leaders wanted combat specialists, scientists pushed for researchers and theorists. Diplomats argued for negotiators and cultural experts. In the end, they chose a diverse group, Dr. Chen for her quantum expertise, Commander Morrison for his space experience, a chess grandmaster for strategic thinking, an emergency room surgeon for decision-making under pressure, a jazz musician for improvisation, and 7 others representing different aspects of human ingenuity. As the chosen 12 prepared for the simulation, the Nexari revealed more about their own species and the threat they faced. High Curator Vextel, the leader of the Nexari delegation, materialized in the UN building through a process that bent light around crystalline structures until a vaguely humanoid form emerged. We are beings of pure quantum consciousness, Vextel explained, their voice now carrying physical resonance. Our evolution took a different path than yours. We achieved perfect logical thinking, eliminated chaos from our cognitive processes, and gained the ability to manipulate reality through pure mathematical precision. The crystalline being gestured, and the air around them shimmered with complex equations made visible. This advancement allowed us to build an interstellar civilization spanning multiple galaxies. We can calculate the movement of every particle in a star system, predict the behavior of matter and energy with perfect accuracy, and construct technology that operates on principles your species has yet to discover. Ambassador Okafor studied the alien's form, noting how the crystalline structure seemed to pulse with internal light. That sounds like an incredible advantage. What makes you think you need our help? Because perfect logic has a fatal flaw. Vextel replied, their form dimming slightly. When faced with entities that operate outside the bounds of known physics, our predictive capabilities become useless. The void devourers don't follow rules, they exist in the spaces between rules. They consume not just matter and energy, but the very concepts that define reality. Dr. Chen felt a chill run down her spine. You're saying they're not just destroying things, they're destroying the possibility of things existing. Precisely. And against such entities, logical thinking becomes a limitation. We can calculate 1,000,000 possible responses to any situation, but we cannot conceive of the impossible response that might actually work. The simulation began at noon on the third day. The 12 human representatives stood in a chamber aboard the Nexary vessel, surrounded by crystalline walls that hummed with alien energy. As the quantum reality construct activated, they found themselves standing on what appeared to be a space station orbiting a dying star. The scenario is based on the Battle of Kepler 442, Vextel explained, their voice echoing in the simulated environment. A Nexori research station was attacked by a void devourer entity. Our tactical computers calculated 847 possible defensive strategies. All failed. The humans looked around at their surroundings. The station was a marvel of alien engineering, with corridors that seemed to exist in multiple dimensions simultaneously, and control panels that responded to thought rather than touch. But despite its advanced technology, the station was clearly under attack. Through the viewing ports, they could see the void devourer approaching. It wasn't a creature in any conventional sense. It was an absence that moved with purpose, a whole. In reality, shaped like hunger. Where it touched the station's shields, they didn't just fail, they ceased to have ever existed. Conventional weapons are useless, Commander Morrison observed, studying the tactical displays. Every time we fire at it, the weapons forget how to function. Dr. Chen was examining the quantum field readings. It's not just absorbing energy, it's unmaking the concepts behind the energy. This thing exists in a state of fundamental negation. The chess grandmaster, Maria Santos, was studying the pattern of the entity's movement. It's not random. There's a logic to how it consumes reality. But it's not a logic we understand. As the simulation continued, the humans began to work together in ways that surprised even themselves. The jazz musician, David Park, started improvising solutions that had no basis in science but somehow worked. The emergency room surgeon, Dr. Amanda Forster, made split-second decisions that saved critical station systems. The linguist, Professor James Wright, began communicating with the station's AI in ways that bypassed its logical parameters. This is fascinating, Vextel commented, observing the human responses. You're not following any predetermined strategy. You're creating solutions in real time based on intuition and creative leaps. Dr. Chen was connecting quantum field generators in patterns that violated several laws of physics. Sometimes the best way to solve an impossible problem is to refuse to accept that it's impossible. The breakthrough came when the team stopped trying to fight the void devourer and started trying to understand it. David Park suggested treating it like a musical composition, a pattern of existence and non-existence that followed its own rhythm. Maria Santos approached it like a chess problem where the rules changed with every move. Dr. Foster treated it like a patient whose condition defied medical explanation. It's not trying to destroy us, Dr. Chen realized suddenly. It's trying to understand us. It consumes reality because it's searching for something that can exist in the same state of negation that it does. The solution, when it came, was typically human in its impossibility. Instead of fighting the entity, they invited it to join them, not as a weapon or a tool, but as a partner in exploring the boundaries between existence and non-existence. The Void Devourer, faced with beings who could conceive of impossible solutions, stopped its advance. For the first time in Nexari history, one of the entities had been not just deterred, but intrigued. As the simulation ended, the humans found themselves back in the crystalline chamber, but something had changed. They could feel the quantum field around them more clearly, as if their consciousness had been expanded by the experience. "Remarkable," Vextal said, their form pulsing with what might have been excitement. "In 12 hours, you achieved what our greatest minds have been unable to accomplish in 12 centuries. You found a way to communicate with a Void Devourer." Admiral Rodriguez, monitoring the simulation from Earth, felt a surge of pride in his species. "So we passed your test. You exceeded our wildest calculations," the Nexari replied. "But more importantly, you've shown us something we had forgotten, that the impossible is only impossible until someone imagines it differently." The formal alliance ceremony took place on the 4th day. Representatives from every nation on Earth gathered in the UN building as High Curator Vextal presented the terms of the collective membership. "The Nexari Collective offers humanity full partnership," Vextal announced. "We will establish joint research facilities, share our technology, and work together to develop new strategies against the Void Devourers. In return, we ask for access to human creative thinking and the establishment of human Nexari teams throughout the galaxy." President Vasquez stood to respond on behalf of humanity. "We accept your offer, but we have conditions of our own. This alliance must be one of equals, not mentors and students. Humanity will maintain its independence and its right to develop along its own path." "Agreed," Vextal replied without hesitation. "Diversity of thought is precisely what we need. A unified galaxy of identical minds would be no better equipped to face the Void Devourers than we are alone." As the ceremony concluded, Dr. Chen found herself standing beside Commander Morrison, both of them looking up at the crystalline ships that now seemed less alien and more like harbingers of adventure. "Do you think we're ready for this?" Morrison asked. Chen smiled, her mind already racing with possibilities. "Probably not, but that's never stopped us before. The alliance was just the beginning." Within weeks, joint research stations were established on the Moon and Mars. Human scientists worked alongside Nexari quantum engineers, their chaotic thinking patterns complementing alien logic in ways that produced breakthrough after breakthrough. The first human Nexari vessel was launched 6 months later, its design incorporating both species' strengths, where Nexari precision created perfect energy efficiency. Human innovation added adaptive systems that could respond to the unexpected. The ship was a testament to what could be achieved when order and chaos worked together. As humanity took its first steps into the galactic community, the Void Devourers continued their advance across the universe. But now they faced something newer: alliance that combined logical perfection with creative chaos, ancient wisdom with youthful innovation. The war for reality itself was about to begin, and humanity was ready to fight with the one weapon the universe had never seen before: the power to imagine the impossible and make it real. Ambassador Okafor, now serving as Earth's first galactic representative, stood in the observation deck of the joint station orbiting Saturn. Through the viewport, she could see human and Nexari ships working together, their crews learning from each other in ways that were transforming both species. "We're not just joining their civilization," she realized. "We're creating something entirely new." The age of human isolation was over. The age of cosmic partnership had begun, and in the vast darkness between stars, the impossible was about to become inevitable.